Okay, so I found this interesting video that it's called "The Price We Pay for Consumerism," and I'm going to react to it and to talk it out. Well, first, why am I going to react to it if no one watches my videos or whatever? Because I thought I could make a comment about it, but it feels like a too annoying thing to do, to comment. Well, actually, I don't agree with this, so I'm going to make a video separate from its comment section, right? I could comment I could comment my thoughts on the video below, but since it's kind of annoying, I'm going to do a video instead.
Ladies and gentlemen, damas y caballeros, if I could summarize the current state of the world in one famous quote, it would be, the road to hell was paved with good intentions. Doing good isn't as always as easy as it sounds. I mean, when you look at our highly consumer-driven society, it seems like we have opened this Pandora's box. And just like in the story, out of the box has flown greed, envy, hatred, pain, poverty, and in the 21st century, out flew abundance. If you look at our society right now, it seems like we have perfected abundance in every single area of our lives. Abundance of information, we have the smartphone. Abundance of stuff, we have Amazon. Abundance in content, we have Netflix. And with all this abundance, we should be the happiest we have ever been in our lives, right? Wrong. People are more stressed out than ever. People are more overwhelmed than ever. People are unhappier than ever. The road to hell was paved with good intentions. At least in the beginning, I don't think this was caused through bad intentions. I think in our quest for abundance, in our quest for progress, in our consumer-driven society, we messed up somewhere. And there's a price we pay for all this abundance and all this progress. And in this video, I simply want to ask you, is it worth it? Nothing in this world is free. So here are the 8 costs of abundance.
Okay, so he's going to talk now about the costs. Some comment about this intro. I don't know. I kind of agree or kind of disagree. It doesn't matter. It's kind of a presentation of it. So that's why I didn't say anything.
Cost number 1, an envy-driven mainstream. As a content creator, something that really fascinates me is this idea of the mainstream. Why does a certain video go viral and captivate a large audience? How do you win over the hearts and minds of the majority? Because the mainstream is a very narrow line to walk. And I think that 99% of the time, something becomes mainstream because of one word, envy. And to remind you, envy is a feeling of discontent with regard to another's advantages, success, possessions. Not 100%, ladies and gentlemen, because there's always that one person, but 99% of the time, it is because of envy. And we're faced with an abundance of content every single day. And content influences you on what to buy, how to live, what to believe. The first cost of abundance is an envy-driven mainstream. Go to Netflix or YouTube or TikTok. What content performs the best and captivates a large audience? It's the envy-driven stuff. It's the guy that goes to mansions and asks, what do you do for a living? It's the girl on Instagram, the beautiful girl with a big butt. It's the beautiful people on Netflix that are too hot to handle. Mental health is probably at its lowest level that it's ever been. And I think it's because we're flooded with an abundance of envy-driven content that makes us normies feel very bad. It makes us feel very insufficient. And it damages our mental health. Cost number 2.
Okay. I think in this point, I more or less agree. I think that maybe the percentages are a bit off. He says except the 1%, 99% of stuff is envy related, right? And I think maybe the percentages vary a bit, right? Maybe it's more like 30% non-envy, 70 envy, right? So maybe there is a majority of envy-driven stuff, especially in the money thing. What does he say here?
Content every single day. And content influences you on what to buy, how to live, what to believe.
What to buy? Yeah, I think what to buy is probably very highly driven by envy. So ads and stuff like that want you to buy something are usually, I think, very envy driven, right? You don't have this and you should need it. This is why, right? More than you actually need this. So here, it's more creating necessity than checking on someone's necessities and fulfilling. I think that's I agree in that one. And how to live and what to believe, I don't know. I wouldn't know what to say on those. But yeah, more or less, I think I kind of agree. Yeah. Envy driven. And probably in the things that I watch, it is something present, right? I watch a lot of stuff. I think I watch, 30% non-envy driven things. So maybe stuff that is about learning and about stuff like that, framed in a healthy learning stuff kind of style. And the 70%, it's maybe things that are about learning but that are framed in this envy-driven way. So learn this, you should learn this, 10 reasons why you should learn this in 2022, right? So maybe some kind of envy stuff like that, or you should know this but you don't yet, that kind of stuff. And so that's kind of positive but framed in this strange lens. And also just plain, these are cars you don't have, these are whatever. Yeah. these are houses you don't have and you can't have. This is the 10 ways to make money online for you to be better than other people. Or yeah, basically.
Health. Cost number 2, a fictional reality. Now, because we have such an envy-driven mainstream, it is very difficult nowadays to separate the difference between fact and fiction. I mean, if you look at content on the internet or content on Netflix, it will portray a very different life than the one that you and I are probably living. And now that we have an abundance of content at our fingertips 24/7, it distorts our view of the real world. It distorts our view of reality. The reality is, for the average person, for you and me, the normal day is not that eventful. The normal day consists of very boring things like going to work, doing household tasks, and a bunch of other stuff that is not that exciting. There are moments of life that are very exciting, but they are few and far in between. But now that we have an abundance of content at our fingertips 24/7, we consume it, and it distorts our view of reality. It gives us this fictional reality, a reality of sports cars, luxurious houses, beautiful people, and constant partying. The second cost of abundance is a fictional reality. What is real and what is fake nowadays, ladies and gentlemen, I do not know. And I'm sure at some point in your life, you have thought, my life is very boring. I'm not partying all the time. I don't have these luxurious things. I'm just a normal looking person. Is there something wrong with me? And I know that when we consume an abundance of this content, it influences us. It makes us feel like we're broken. And the only way that we can be fixed is if we buy into this luxurious lifestyle and get all this crap that ultimately doesn't make us happy. And all it does, all this fictional reality does, is make us think that our boring lives, our normal lives, are bad and we're doing something wrong. Cost number 3.
I think this one is less right. This one was like this first, when I watched this segment, I was like, that was my first reaction wasn't like, oh my god, so right, oh, so right. Because on the first one, it's like, yeah, on the envy thing, I wasn't like, oh my god, so right. But I was kind of like, yeah, pretty checks out, probably true for many people, probably including myself. And in this second one was when I started to feel like, meh, I don't really feel like that, right? I was more like, yeah, I see your point, and yeah, probably a lot of people have this luxury brain pill in that affects their decisions and stuff like that, or yeah, I guess that they are really Instagram minded or something like that. But in my case, I don't really feel like that. I feel like I am pretty in touch with real life just being boring for basically everyone, and I like to see other people's takes on their boring life, right? I watch a lot of, well, not a lot, I've actually lately not so much, but I had a phase of watching a lot of vlogs with small amount of views. So vlogs from people who just made vlogs about their days from different places in the world or stuff like that, or some random element, or videos about RC cars, for example, but from Indonesia, for example, and you can see how you can kind of get how their real life looks like from their vlog in Indonesia, for example, or from their video about a radio controlled car in Indonesia, for example. You can sense that kind of stuff, and I liked this sensing the real life behind these platforms. And and I think, for example, on the place that I am at on Twitter, the people I follow and stuff like that, these are pretty normal people, and they discuss normal people things and stuff like that, right? It feels like a nice place to be. It's some people have more money than me, some people maybe have less competitive or something like that. I don't know. Probably many have more, but it's not like they are flexing. It's just they are sharing. Yeah, they are sharing how they are living. Sometimes it's more of sharing the flashy side, but you can tell when that's happening, right? It's not, at least in the part of Twitter that I navigate and stuff like that, it's when you see people sharing that stuff, it's perceived as such. It's perceived as sharing a particularly beautiful moment or a particular highlight or something like that. And you also see the bad stuff shared in like text form. Maybe, for example, if you are in the hospital, maybe it says, I'm in the hospital, fuck, I'm so pain. Or I feel so pain. rather than a picture of you at the hospital bed with a decrepit face or something like that. Right? But yeah, you can see that it's better. So yeah, I think that in this case, for example, I wouldn't agree that I've been this second cost. I'm seeing a fictional reality too much, right? I would say that I'm pretty grounded in that sense, I think. The other side of the coin is that maybe the things that I see actually are really out of my reach. And I, for example, follow a lot of people who are living nomadic lifestyles or something like that, or digital nomadic type lifestyles, but who are not flexing about them, right? But who are actually living them. And I do maybe follow a couple of people who are more on the flex side of it, or on the my job is to sell you this type of lifestyle, so I embellish more. But I also follow people who just do it because they do it and they get to share the parts that are good, but also share about the parts that are bad, and when that they are not rooted in one place, and that they have to travel so much, and then they spend a lot of time in airports or something like that. Yeah, kind of the complaints that go with it, as well as the good sides of it. So I think I have a healthy amount of everything in this kind of, even in this kind of alternate type of reality, right? So my counterpoint to this would be, I am not seeing fictional realities. I am seeing real realities that would have seemed fictional some time ago, but can be real, right? This would be kind of my counterpoint, maybe.
Cost number 3, 2. I'm sure you're asking yourself, Augustine, 2? What are you talking about? Well, the ironic thing about living in a society that's full of abundance of options and choices is that in the reality, we really only have 2 options. And of course you know what I'm talking about. You either love apples and you think they're the best fruit in the world, or you despise apples and want them banned from the supermarkets. You either love butter because it's natural, or you love margarine because it's low fat. You're either a skater boy or a see you later boy. Despite all this abundance that we have in our society, we have narrowed everything down to 2, the 2 extremes. And the reason we have 2 is because 2 is extremely profitable. 2 works extremely well. Us against them. We have the skater boys over here and the see you later boys over here. The third cause of abundance is 2. We have narrowed everything down in our society to two different options. But 2 is extremely unhealthy. 2 is toxic. 2 is destroying humanity. And despite all these options, all we have is 2. And from what I've been seeing, ladies and gentlemen, 2, it ain't working out so well for us. Cost number 4, a life full of pain.
So yeah, 2. I think I don't have a lot more to say. Polarized society, blah blah blah. Yeah, probably true. This one is actually I don't feel as strongly about it, but yeah, probably I don't feel like polarization is ruining society. But maybe it is. Yeah, probably. It does suck that politics stuff is so tied to polarization, and yeah, even in fragmented countries like Spain or something like that, basically you see 2 sides instead of multi-parliamentary type stuff, with each one having their flavor. You start to get it ends up getting always polarized into the opposition and the government, right? So the coalition that formed the government and the opposition. Yeah, it's probably, but yeah, I don't think I wouldn't know if this is actually a time where less consensus is able to be formed, or where people are forgetting that consensus is a thing or something like that, or if it's just how people are, that it's easier to polarize stuff. Yeah, I don't know if it's just some kind of the price we pay for consuming type stuff. So the disadvantages of current modern life, or if it's just the disadvantages of being human with a human brain. I don't know.
Pain. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been reading a lot lately, and if you ever want to see what I'm reading, just go in the description box. I updated every single video. Be aware they are affiliate links. You can always just check them out from your library. But those are the books that I'm reading right now. And one book that I have recently read that made a big impact on me was this book right here. It's called Dopamine Nation. And it talks about how for hundreds of thousands of years, our human brains were hardwired for survival. But in the 21st century, we're far beyond survival. We have so much abundance in our society that we're always seeking pleasure, and we're trying to avoid pain at all costs. But the ironic thing about always seeking pleasure in our abundant society is that you end up never getting pleasure. You see, pleasure is always followed by pain, but pain is always followed by pleasure. Think about it. How do you feel after doom scrolling Instagram? Normally, you're going to feel depression, anxiety, and envy. But how do you feel after doing some physical activity, after going to the gym or going for a walk? You might feel sore, you might feel tired, but you're probably going to feel a lot better than when you first started that activity. You're probably going to feel very good about yourself. The 4th cost of abundance is a life full of pain. All we're seeking now is pleasure. We're trying to avoid pain at all costs. But the ironic thing about always seeking pleasure is that it leads to a life full of pain. Cost number 5, a complete disrespect of...
Yeah, pain. Yeah, pleasure versus pain. I think this one could be onto something. Well, I mean, it's super talked about, and dopamine, blah, blah, blah. Dopamine detox, all that stuff, it's super talked about. But yeah, I think that one's probably true. People are included. Well, more than that's probably true. I feel it truer. For example, I feel like these platforms, including the ones I like, for example, Twitter, which I like, or YouTube, which I learn a lot from, and which I am trying to be involved with stuff like this, for example. Yeah, I do feel like they are they fry your brain in some sense. Or pornography, for example, could also be there. They probably like fry your brain, and they do feel like they are frying your brain. I got someone. Let me find it. I replied to this tweet about has watching porn impacted your life or blah blah blah, and I said I don't feel really. Yeah, I'm not addicted to porn, but it probably fucks your brain up, right? And I worded it in this way: destroying your dopamine reward circuitry. I worded it that way because this is like how people like this, right? I assume the brain, the brain called the book called dopamine, whatever, right? The book that he linked. I guess so. It's sometimes related to it. So I chose this wording, and this dude told me you can destroy your short-term dopamine circuitry with it. It's like, okay, I guess. So yeah, the social networks have liked me. Or this dude says bad neuropop pseudoscience. I guess if you think it's pseudoscience, but okay, I don't know. I don't have much more to say, right? It's like, okay, maybe it doesn't literally fuck your brain circuitry up, but it certainly feels like a different kind of stimuli that you are not used to, right? So what wording shall I use? Right? Tell me. If you don't tell me, I'm going to use the pop science wording that it's fucking common as hell in the internet, right? So.
Time. Ladies and gentlemen, from my point of view, as the owner of this channel, it sure has taken on a mind of its own. But the reoccurring theme of the channel seems to be live an intentional life. Most of us are living an unintentional life. We're just living a life on autopilot. In our highly consumeristic, materialistic society full of abundance, we're spending all of our money on a bunch of useless crap. But you can never forget, money represents time. We spend a huge chunk of our lives working at jobs that we don't always enjoy to make money. I mean, we probably spend like at least a quarter of our lives at work. And once we spend all that time working to make money, what do we do with the money? Well, we just buy a bunch of crap, and we're just wasting our money. And what we're doing basically is we're throwing away our time. The fifth cost of abundance is the complete disrespect of time. When you look at the norm of our society, of how we spend our money, how you shop till you drop, you get that car payment you can't afford, you get the big house with all the rooms that you don't need, it traps you in this vicious circle of work, make money, spend money, create the need to make more money. We spend so much of our time working extremely hard to make money, and then we're told, you deserve it, you earned it, go out and get that nice thing, and you deserve options, you deserve freedom. You don't deserve to be trapped in this vicious circle, because when you're disrespecting your money, you're disrespecting your time, you're throwing away your time, and you're disrespecting your short amount of time on planet Earth. Cost number 6, a non-existent.
Yeah, this one, it kind of makes sense. I myself, I'm trying to kind of get away from this, you have to work, you have to work, you have to work. It's like, pause. Maybe I don't, right? Maybe I can do other things. Or maybe I can be valuable without exactly needing to get into this machinery that really is built up to keep you in there, right? It's like the job machine is built to keep you working. Even dope jobs like being a dope engineer in engineering company is still, they have their tiers to make you to give you a promotion and to give you these little rewards to keep you there, right? So I guess if you really internalize that you really like that kind of, well, that the compromises between that and the other thing, which it will be like doing your own thing or stuff like that, is that you realize that there are options and you choose this one with the good and the bad that comes with it, then I think it's fine. And not being a cog in the machine isn't bad per se, and probably we are all cogs in the machine regardless of the path. But there are some cogs with different freedoms and other cogs with different freedoms as well. So yeah, basically that, but that there is more pressure towards one kind of cog ship, right? It's like they have a job, get money, and that kind of cycle is kind of a real cycle, in my opinion.
Existent community. You know, I think a lot of our problems that we have in the United States come from the lack of community. We don't feel like we're part of something bigger than ourselves. And because we have abundance, there's no need for community anymore. We don't need cashiers because we have self-checkout. We don't need waiters because we have QR codes. We don't need community because we have abundance. On our journey of progress and abundance, we have lost the very thing that makes us humans, community. we have lost what it means to be a part of something bigger than ourselves. The sixth cost of abundance is a non-existent community. In the United States, we have so much abundance that we don't need neighbors. We don't need small talk. We have everything we could ever dream of. So we don't need community anymore. Cost number...
This one kind of, I don't know, it feels real, but I don't know if the causes are that abundance is the cause of lack of community. I don't know. I do feel this lack of community and that it's easier to lack community now in the internet times than before. But I also feel like there is more flexibility in the kind of community that you can get, right? So it's not like now you can get more the communities that you couldn't before, or like the barriers of entry of these communities is lower compared to before, and at the same time the default community that you had maybe is less, right? So maybe now life is more fragmented than before by default, right? You started by default with less community, while before you started with more community, but you were more locked in, and now you are less community. You have less community, but you are less locked in, so you can actively look for more. But if it depends on your type of person, right? Maybe there are some people who really vibe with with big default community, and who really get locked in, right? You know, like this with my gang for life type of people, and there are some others who are like always on the lookout for, I don't know, maybe just thinking out loud.
Number 7, a distracted life. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know about you, but it is so hard to focus nowadays. I mean, I'm constantly overwhelmed by news stories, TV options, and doom scrolling. It is so hard to focus because of all this abundance that we have in our society. I mean, TikTok is the saddest thing that I've ever seen about humanity. I mean, it's impossible to say anything worthwhile in under 30 seconds.
This one was the part of the video that made me want to say, okay, pause. Because I have just watched a TikTok that, in my opinion, said a lot in 30 seconds. Let me see if I can. It's this one.
Mad at me about this, but this is something a lot of people are going to be mad at me about this, but this is something that needs to be said, and I'm the only one who has the courage to say it. The reason why pretty girls are only friends with other pretty girls is because it's impossible to be friends with ugly bitches. If I want to go to a club, I am not going to not go just because my friends aren't cute and they probably aren't going to get in, okay? And this is just the reality of life. We are all suffering the consequences of the patriarchy, and as a pretty girl, I feel like I have every right to live my life the way that I want to without the added stress of having non-pretty friends. And I don't think that you should blame me for that. I think you should blame the society and the patriarchy and the government.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's so fucking good. And it's 41 seconds, over 30 seconds. But, I mean, it's amazing. And this video has a lot of layers behind it. It's apparently based on this video. So that other video is based on this video, and this video was more earnest.
Places. It's a hard truth, but it's a...
Maybe, I don't even know if this one is actually earnest, but it has the hashtag real talk, and it does seem like in the context it was earnest. So yeah, this one, the other one is mocking this one, but it's mocking it in a spicy way. I don't know. It's a good video, right? And it says a lot of stuff in 41 seconds. So I don't know. I think it's like that particular sentence of
by news stories, TV options, and doom scrolling. It is so hard to focus because of all this abundance that we have in our society. I mean, TikTok is the saddest thing that I've ever seen about humanity. I mean, it's impossible to say anything worthwhile in under 30 seconds.
I don't know. It's possible. So I don't know. There's one side of me that's like, yeah, he's kind of right. It's more difficult to focus, but it's also not impossible to say something worthwhile in 41 seconds, right? And there are people who do it. And there's this ecosystem of people who communicate in that way. And I think it's worth learning about it.
Just consuming all this content and not processing any of it. In a way, we're just hiding within ourselves because we have this device to avoid boredom, awkwardness, and small talk that we're never in the moment and we're always distracted. The 7th cost of abundance is a distracted life.
Maybe this is right. maybe there is too much distraction and too much noise and all that if you want to focus on some things. But I don't know, I also feel like there is good stuff in that noise, and sifting through the noise is a worthwhile task.
We have so much abundance now. We have so many options and so many choices that we can't enjoy them because we have too many of them. I mean, go to Netflix. You will spend more time deciding what you want to watch than actually watching things. And when you watch something, you're constantly thinking, is this the right thing that I should be watching? And we're so...
I mean, the first thing, I sometimes spend a lot of time deciding what to watch. Well, actually, I don't really do it. But sometimes I do open the Netflix app to see what's out there and don't really say, I want to watch this one. But when I watch something, I'm not thinking about other things. I don't know. The second thing doesn't happen to me. The first one, it's like relatable. But the first one is like, the second one is like, meh, not relatable, right? So it's like, meme about when you are scrolling through Netflix and you can't find anything to play after 2 hours. Meme, so it's exaggerated, and I've never actually spent 2 hours browsing through stuff. But there is this sensation of I don't want to watch anything like this, or scrolling a lot on the YouTube homepage because I don't really, none of the videos that are there are the thing I really want to watch right now, right? But I don't know.
So distracted that we're wasting our short time on planet Earth. Cost number 8, hope. Ladies and gentlemen, if you remember the story of Pandora's box, curiosity is what made Pandora open the box and outflew all the evils of the world. And once they were released, Pandora's actions couldn't be reversed. But upon opening the box one final time, outflew one more thing, and it was soft, and it was warm. Hope. In the beginning of this video, I asked you a question. Is abundance worth it? Well, whether it is or not, that is the reality of the world that we're living in right now. And it seems like it's only going to get worse. And I don't have the answers to these big problems, but I think it's important to just start recognizing them and remember that no matter how messed up the world gets, and no matter how dark technology makes our society, we still have hope. Hope that one day we will all wake up and realize that there is a price we pay for abundance. There's a price we pay for this consumeristic, materialistic way of life. And collectively, not as two, but as one, ask ourselves, is it worth it? And with that, muchas gracias, que tengan un buen día. Video 72. Nos vemos, chicos.
Yeah, this is basically it. I don't know. Dude seems like into minimalism and all that stuff, and I respect that. So I wonder what I guess he also makes passive income type videos, so I guess he wants to escape this race, this cycle of make money to work, and wants to get abundance in other stuff or whatever. I don't know. So I just wanted to talk about this, reflect a little bit on what he's saying, see where I disagree, where I agree, and I think I did that. Let me know if you feel something, let me know. And if not something, here.